Mr. Chairman, sir.
Last you can raise. Last after the minister reply you can ask. After minister's reply you raise the question. After minister's reply you raise the question, please. Honorable Minister, Home Minister.
Afterwards.
Afterwards, finally you can raise the question.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm the 30th speaker today. 29 honourable members have spoken, led by Shri Anurag Thakur from the principal opposition party and Shri Sandeep Dixit from the Congress party. I'm grateful to all the honourable members for sitting for about a little over 5 hours to debate the demands of the Ministry of Home Affairs. We are talking about demands. I don't have too much money. We have only about 46,000 crore which is given for what is called police. I don't think we should be misled by the larger number, because the larger number includes items like the expenditure on the cabinet, money given to the union territories like Andaman and Nicobar, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu and Lakshadweep. For matters that we have discussed today, the head police, we get about 46,600 crore. It's not a large amount. It has increased substantially over the last 2 years. And therefore, what we can do and what we cannot do, what we can do ourselves and what we can do to help the states is actually limited by the money that we have. Given the money that we have, I think you should ask what has been accomplished in the last year, which we are reviewing, and in particular since the watershed of 26/11/2008. Sir, we have a 7,500 kilometer coastline. We have a 15,500 kilometer land border. And this doesn't include Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar. We have 5 neighbors: Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Bangladesh, and then we have Myanmar, Indonesia, we have Sri Lanka in the south, but countries are abutting our borders. We live in a neighborhood which also has Afghanistan, Iraq, and some other countries. Believe me, in terms of violence in the world, this is the most troubled neighborhood. 80% of all terrorist incidents have occurred in 3 countries: Pakistan, Iraq, and Afghanistan. All the major terrorist groups in the world have their bases in these countries: Al-Qaeda, Taliban, LET, JEM, Hizbul Mujahideen, Huji. All of them have their bases in these countries. To assume that we will not be affected by the fact that we are in the most troubled neighborhood, that we will not be affected when we have such a vast coastline and a long land border, is, I think, not a correct assumption. We will be affected. And therefore, it is up to us to work together to make this country more secure. And I ask all of you to honestly ask yourself the question. I can read out numbers, and if you wish I will read some numbers. Honestly ask yourself this question. Is not J&K today a much safer, much better place than what it was 3 years ago? Is not the Northeast witnessing the most peaceful years in the last 10 to 15 years? Please sit down, madam. Please don't interrupt me, madam. Please don't interrupt me. Please sit down. Please sit. Please, madam. Please, madam, I beg you. Except in Nagaland and Manipur, where we have difficulties, and we're trying to get over those difficulties, Northeast is witnessing the most peaceful years over the last couple of years. Take West Bengal. This has nothing to do with the other differences that we have. But undoubtedly, in the last 6 months, Jungle Mahal, which was the most intense conflict zone, has seen peace and calm and harmony return to it. And in terms of terrorist violence, there was a time when every year we had an average of about 5 to 6 major terrorist attacks. Since Mumbai, we've had 3 major terrorist attacks. And I'm the first one to admit that 3 are blots, the 3 blots. But if you go back to 2001 onwards, every year we have had 5 or 6 major terrorist attacks. And in the run-up to Mumbai, we had an average of 7 terrorist attacks a year. Now in the last 3.5 years, we've had 3 terrorist attacks in the entire 3.5 years. The 3 are blots, but surely no one can say that our capacity to deal with terror has increased. No one can deny that. So my respectful submission is that much has been done in the last 3.5 years under UPA 2. Much has been done in the last year. I give a report at the end of every month. I give a report at the end of every year. Unfortunately, it is not noticed, it is not read. In the last year alone, given our limited finances, we have spent 2,485 crore for purchasing arms and ammunition for the Central Armed Police Forces. 2,128 crore for land buildings for the CAPFs. 200 crore was released under SRE to LW affected states, 460 crore to JNK, and 350 crore to the Northeast. In the Naxal affected states, now let me just give you one piece of evidence which will surprise many of you. Bastar, the district of Bastar, until last year was one district. One collector, one SP. The land area of Bastar is larger than Kerala. It is as if Kerala had one collector and one SP. This is only last year. We urged the Chief Minister responded, he's divided into 5 districts. In many of these areas there are no police stations. For the first time, we are giving 800 crore rupees to construct 400 model police stations, each police station costing 2 crore rupees. Even the most advanced state in this country does not have a police station constructed at 2 crore rupees. These are 45 police stations. We have signed agreements with the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha, a memorandum of settlement with the UPDS and the Karbi Anglong district in Assam. We have signed suspension of operation agreements with ULFA, with UTLA, with PRA. We've got tripartite talks going on with the DHDN, DHDJ, NDFB Progressive, and 1,695 cadres belonging to 9 outfits surrendered before the Chief Minister of Assam and me a few months ago. We have sanctioned 3,477 additional posts to the CAPFs. We recruited 53,646 constables last year. 44 crore was released for 131 new coastal police stations under Coastal Security Scheme Phase 2. 274 new posts were created for the National Police Academy. 35 crore for the Northeastern Police Academy. 21 counter-insurgency schools were approved, 17 are functional. Sanction has been given for 6 new RTCs, 1 new jungle warfare school, and to upgrade 9 STCs, 2 BTCs at a cost of 493 crore. Now, why do I read this? I believe, sir, that security can be enhanced by enhancing our capacities in 3 areas. First is intelligence. Without intelligence, there is no security. Intelligence is the key to security. The second is capacity. We need more policemen. We need more arms, more equipment, more vehicles, more schools to train them. That's capacity. And the third, and this is where I wish to spend a few minutes, because I don't intend to make a long intervention. We must have a complete and common understanding that as a nation, we are willing to take firm, preemptive steps to control any kind of threat to internal security. I think on the first two, there's really no quarrel. I didn't find anyone speaking in a dissonant voice on intelligence and capacity building. I think we are all agreed that we need to expand our intelligence capabilities. Everybody has welcomed MAC. Everybody has welcomed SMAC. It is MAC and SMAC which seamlessly shares intelligence 24/7 with every important functionary in the intelligence establishment that has given us this capacity to deal with threats to terror. I get SMSs at midnight. Every important functionary in the intelligence community is alerted 24/7. Chief ministers have acknowledged the fact that MAC and SMAC have made a remarkable difference to our intelligence capability. On capacity, I said what we have done. But you tell me, do this and do that. But who should do this and who do that? There are 5 lakh vacancies in the state constabulary today, against a total sanction strength of 20 lakhs. Now, who should fill them? You talked about police stations which do not have policemen, which do not have weapons. Who should appoint policemen and acquire the weapons? Dr. Baliram said, Government of India should interfere if law and order fails. Shri Vishwa Mohan Kumar said, police stations with no buildings, no toilets, no policemen, no arms. Government of India must do it. Shri Suvendra Adhikari said, take action against CPM cadres. Shri Pinaki Mishra said, Government of India has done little to control Naxalism. Shri Jagannatha Singh said, central government cannot absolve itself of its responsibility. Shri Sher Singh said, roads on the border should be built by the central government. Schools on the border must be constructed by the central government. And Shri Ajay Kumar said, the weakest link is the police station and FIR cannot be registered. I'm willing to take the responsibility, but do I have the capacity to take this responsibility? What about the responsibility of the state governments? And then you tell me, take all this responsibility, roll back NIA, roll back NATGRID, roll back NCTC. What I'm trying to say, sir, is this Hamletian dilemma must go. Remember the famous words of Hamlet? To be or not to be. What do we want to be? I say, and I say this with greatest respect, in this troubled neighborhood, in the year 2012, internal security of this country is a shared responsibility We are willing to accept our share. States must come forward to accept their share. This is what the Constitution says. The very Constitution which says in list 2 that law and order and public order are the responsibility of the state government, also says in Article 355 that it is the responsibility of the central government to protect every state against external aggression and internal disturbance. We have to read these provisions together. And all that I've been saying since the 1st of December 2008, and please go back and read the first intervention I made in this House as Home Minister. Internal security is a shared responsibility. We are willing to take our responsibility. States must take their responsibility. Now, last year, Government of India spent 40,000 rupees on police. 40,000 crore rupees on police. Do you know how much all the states spent? All the states put together spent 60,000 crore. If Government of India spends 40,000 crore, and if all the states together spend 60,000 crore, how is 100,000 crore enough to secure this vast country? I have repeatedly urged chief ministers. You point to my share of the budget. I've repeatedly urged them, look at your share for police in your budgets. Look at your share for police in total expenditure. So unless we accept the principle of shared responsibility, I think we cannot resolve some of the problems that we are now facing, and we cannot develop the capacity to deal with threats to internal security. So, a number of issues were raised. Let me answer them in brief, short sentences. First, NIA. NIA is a fledgling organization, barely 3 years old. In 3 years, we have entrusted to it 40 cases. 22 have already been charge sheeted. I can't recall any other fledgling organization which has hit the ground running. NIA makes no distinction between a terrorist belonging to one religion or another religion. NIA makes no distinction between a terrorist belonging to one faith or one caste or another caste or one language or another language. NIA has registered cases against those, for want of a better phrase, who call themselves jihadi terrorists. There are 12 cases. NIA has also registered cases against those who mistakenly believe in some kind of a right-wing fundamentalism. There are 9 cases. So let's not run down the NIA. NIA's track record has been among the best among new organizations. Then there is this popular myth that India cannot deal with terrorist attacks, whereas the United States has had no terrorist attacks since 9/11. At least half a dozen members said this. Now, first of all, let us disabuse ourselves of this wrong notion. It's completely wrong. It's only a tribute to the successful propaganda machinery of the United States. There were 3 actual terrorist attacks in the US. Los Angeles airport shooting on the 4th of July 2002, 3 dead, 4 injured. Little Rock recruiting office shooting, June 1, 2009, 1 dead, 1 injured. Fort Hood shooting, November 5, 2009, 13 dead, 30 injured. And there were 3 nearly successful terrorist attacks. The shoe bomber on December 21, 2001, the underwear bomber, December 25, 2009, and the Times Square bomb on May 1, 2010. I'm not taking any sense of satisfaction. All I'm saying is every country is vulnerable today, but don't be under the misapprehension that India is more vulnerable than other countries. I say India is no more vulnerable, but India is no less vulnerable than any other country. We are as vulnerable as any other country. We are in a troubled neighborhood. We have to build capacity and we have to be able to face the threats that we face. Sir, there was a question about Telangana. Now, if anyone believes that the Union Home Minister unilaterally can call a few press persons and make an announcement about Telangana, I think you don't know how government functions. No Home Minister can make such a statement. Now, the circumstances under which that statement was made are well known. Please recall the proceedings of the Business Advisory Committee of the Andhra Pradesh State Assembly on December 7, 2009, where they unanimously said,
Sorry, sir, our party was...
I'm not... I'm not saying anything about your party.
No, listen. Let the minister make statement afterwards. Wait.
Did I say anything about your party?
No, let the minister
Just a
say.
moment, Mr. Nageshwara. Did I say anything about your party?
No, please.
Did I say anything about your
Mr.
party?
Rao, take your seat.
Please sit down. Please sit down.
Mr. Rao.
Why are they sensitive when I read
No,
facts?
let him. No.
Did I say anything
Let
about
him
your
say
party?
what. Listen, let the minister say, then you
But
can.
did I say
Now let
anything
him
about your
say.
party?
Let him
Did I
complete
say
his
anything
speech.
about your
Let him
party?
complete it what he wants.
I said...
Please.
I said...
Please sit down.
You are
Let him
aware-
complete what he wants to say, then afterwards you write.
Look at the record.
Please.
Please sit down, Mr. Nageshwar
Please.
Rao.
Let him.
I said you are aware of the proceedings of the Business Advisory Committee on December 7. I did not say A said this or B said that. Followed by the proceedings of the all-party meeting convened by the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh later in the evening of the same day. 2 meetings took place on that day. After looking at the Business Advisory Committee's proceedings and the all-party meeting's proceedings, and we have the minutes of the all-party meeting of December 7, a decision was taken and we made the announcement on December 9, 2009. But the situation altered dramatically within 24 hours. Political parties which had expressed a particular opinion, virtually every major political party split, including the party to which I belong to, the Congress Party. On this issue, they were divided. Because of the dramatic change in the situation, we were obliged to make the revised statement on December 23, 2009, saying that we have no option now but to call all the political parties to deliberate on the mechanism and lay down a roadmap for further consultations. That is how the all-party was called again, and then the Sri Krishna Committee was appointed. These are documents which are on the record. Who said what is on the record. Who supported it, who opposed it, who abstained, who absented himself is all on the record. Based on the record, a statement was made. Because the situation altered dramatically in 24 hours, we had to make a revised statement. Now the Sri Krishna Committee has given its report. Is it not a fact that we are on record that we want all 8 political parties to express their opinion? I've heard both Mr. Nageshwara and Mr. Ovese. You have met me separately. Your leader has met me separately. You have met me on a number of occasions. It is a fact that you say, let the Congress Party take the lead. It is a fact. I've heard what you said now. What is the view? What is the view? No, I know your view. I know your view. You had a chance. No, you had your chance.
Minister, you address the chair.
You had your chance to speak. You had your chance to speak. Whatever views you have expressed, you have already expressed it on the record. Please sit down. Please. Government will take it. Just a moment. Please sit down. Please sit down.
Please, you address the chair. Minister.
Please sit down. Please sit down. Sir, please ask him to sit down.
No,
sir.
please, you address the chair. Honorable Minister.
Please ask him to sit down.
No, you address the chair. You address the chair, I will control.
Why are you shouting? Please sit down, Nageswara. Please sit down.
Please,
Please sit down now, friend.
Mr. Nageswara, please.
Will you please sit down? Will you please sit down? Unless you sit down, how can we continue my speech?
Mr.
Unless you sit down, how do I resume my speech? I've heard you, please.
Mr. Minister.
I've heard you, please sit down.
Honorable Minister. Mr. Minister, you address the chair. When I will tackle you address the chair, I will tackle them.
That unless he resumes his speech, I can't resume my speech.
Last talks comes, therefore, you
So
address
the fact is that we have said that we must have the views of all the political parties. I concede that the Congress party has held extensive consultations, and I'm told that they will be able to take a view shortly. But my appeal is, when the Congress party takes a view on the matter, the other political parties which have not yet formally told us their final view must also be able to take a view. It's only when these 8 political parties which are represented in the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly take a view that the government can take a view. We are not going to impose any view on the parties. They must come forward and tell us their views, and once they take their view, I assure you, government will not hesitate to announce its final decision on the matter.
Okay, let's talk.
What has to be
No,
done?
already.
What has to be done?
Please,
Your party has very little stake in Andhra Pradesh. On 1st of April 2004, I've read the letter of Mr. Advani. I've read the letter of Mr. Advani on the last occasion. Mr. Advani on the last occasion wrote a letter saying that his party was opposed to the creation of Telangana. I offered the letter for the on the table, but your party has since changed its view. I don't question your right to change the view. But there are other parties which far greater stakes in the welfare of Andhra Pradesh who have to take their view. And if they take a little more time to come to a decision, I can't blame them for taking more time to come to the decision. Sir?
Please, no comment, no comment, no commentary. No commentary, please. Let the Minister complete.
So there was some question about Delhi police. But I don't know if Sandeep Dixit expects me to say what has been done as far as Delhi police is concerned. We have added considerable capacity in Delhi police. We have recruited more people. We have created more police stations. We have created more subdivisions. We have given them more vehicles. Today, I think Delhi is better administered in terms of policing and law and order than it was. But Delhi is a fast-growing city, and Delhi has a large number of irregular or what they call illegal or irregular settlements. Delhi also attracts a large number of people from neighboring states. A metropolitan city like Delhi is a very complex situation for policing. That is why Mumbai and Delhi require a different kind of policing, and we are trying to introduce a different kind of policing in Delhi, and Mumbai must also follow suit. It's not possible to police large metropolitan agglomerations in the way we police small cities. But Delhi, we are doing our very best to make policing better. I wish to take a couple of minutes to talk about the problems faced by the Northeastern boys and girls and citizens from the Northeast. I deeply regret that there is still a sense of suspicion about people who most people think have different facial features, different racial features. It's very sad. The Northeastern people are as much a part of India as any other state of India. And the children of the Northeast are as much our children as children belonging to any other state. Just a moment. Since the problem first arose in Delhi because many of them came to Delhi. But please remember, in the last year and a half, the number of incidents involving Northeastern boys and girls has dramatically declined in Delhi. In fact, in 2011, there was only one serious incident. There were some minor incidents. Now, Northeastern boys and girls are going to other cities. They're going to Gurgaon, they're going to Noida. Unfortunately, anything that happens in Gurgaon and Noida because we read the English papers and Hindi papers here, people attribute it to Delhi. But it is happening in Gurgaon, it's happening in Noida. Dana Sangma's case happened in Gurgaon. And they go to Bangalore. Richard Loytom's case happened in Bangalore. I'm in touch with both state governments. We are following both cases very closely. If at any point of time we feel that either the government of Haryana or the government of Karnataka is not pursuing these two cases to the logical conclusion, I will personally request the two chief ministers to hand over the case to the CBI. But as these children go to other parts of India, as they used to come to Delhi, I sincerely hope and pray that in other parts of India too, the people will welcome these boys and girls, will allow them to study in their schools and colleges and universities, and will treat them like the children of any other state of this country. Sir,
Please, no comment, please.
so some questions.
Be serious, whatever the case.
Sir, some questions.
Don't divert the attention. Please.
Sir, some questions were raised about the BSF Amendment Act and NCTC. Well, I don't know whether this is the right time for me to speak extensively in NCTC, because there is a Chief Minister's meeting coming up on the 5th of May. There was some question about the BSF Amendment Act, which is now before the Rajya Sabha. Now, I suspect that not many who criticize the NCTC, not many who criticize the NCTC read the NCTC order or the 3-page note that I've circulated. And this is not a criticism. This is just a feeling that I have. Why do I say this? Let's take the BSF Amendment Act. Section 139 confers powers upon the BSF. Whatever powers are there, are there. That section is not being amended. Let me underline. That section is not being amended. Yet you say I'm conferring more powers on the BSF. That section is not being amended. All that we are doing is, the preamble to the Act made long ago says, BSF can be deployed in the border. Today, I'm forced to deploy BSF in the interior districts of two states, Odisha and Chhattisgarh. There are 30 companies of BSF in Odisha, 30 companies of BSF in Chhattisgarh. Do I deploy them or do I withdraw them? The Chief Ministers want them deployed. The Act does not allow me to deploy. Therefore we say, amend the preamble and amend the section which says border areas to any other area in the state. BSF cannot be deployed unless the Chief Minister wants it to be deployed. And when I deploy it in the border, the power is there. When I deploy it in an interior district, should not BSF have the same power? Not a single additional power is being given. All that is being done is to regularize the deployment of BSF in Chhattisgarh and Odisha. I'm sure the Chief Ministers of the two states have received my letter. I'm sure when they come there on the 5th of May, they will be able to give a favorable response. Same with NCTC. I won't take more than 3 sentences because we will discuss it on the 5th of May. Section 2E of the UAPA was made in 2004, long before I became Home Minister, which introduced designated agency. We amended UAPA here in December 2008. We added, the Lok Sabha added section 43A to 43F. It was debated in this House. 43A referred to designated agency and said designated agency may, under certain circumstances, counter terrorism, arrest and seize articles. For the moment you arrest, you must hand them over to the nearest police station. This is a law made by Parliament. It was passed in the Lok Sabha, it was passed in the Rajya Sabha. In fact, some of you should have asked me, we passed the law in 2008, what were you doing for 3 years? The accusation against me should be that I was tardy, I delayed for 3 years. But when I finally get consensus within the government and we have an NCTC, you turn around and say, I'm encroaching upon state's powers. What power am I encroaching upon? In a counter-terrorism situation, when a counter-terrorism operation is being undertaken, the first police officer there would have to arrest. And the next section, 43B, says, when you arrest, you will hand him over to the nearest police station, and the station house officer will then take over the case. Please tell me, where is the encroachment in state's powers? Anyway, these are matters which we will discuss with the Chief Ministers on the 5th of May, so I do not... All I'm trying to say is, counter-terrorism, violence, militancy, these are shared responsibilities. As we are willing to take our share of our responsibility, states must also take their share of the responsibility. Finally, sir, I want to conclude by 2 to 3 minutes on what I consider, what our government considers, and what the Prime Minister considers, and he has said so in so many words. The gravest threat to internal security is Maoism, CPI Maoism. Now, I've heard here a number of people say, hold talks. I have no objection. Just tell me, who should I talk to? Yes, we will hold talks. But when we hold talks, will there be violence or will there not be violence? Or let me phrase the question differently. When we hold talks, should there be violence or should there not be violence? I am on record having offered to the CPI Maoist, please say that you will not indulge in violence during the period when we hold talks, and I will immediately fix a date and place to hold talks. In the Northeast, we impose more stringent conditions. In the Northeast, we say you must lay down arms, you must surrender, your cadres must move into camps, your arms must be under lock and key. Only then we will hold talks with you. With the Naxalites, we don't say that. With the CPI Maoists, we don't say that. We only say, during the period when we hold talks, from the start day to end day, there should be no violence. There has been no response to this. And in the absence of a response, I have to pursue my two-pronged strategy. One prong of the strategy is security action by police, the security forces. The other prong of the strategy is development work. Under the IAPA, we have spent 3,300 crore rupees in the last 18 months. 60 districts. It's one of the biggest success stories in recent times. 66,000 works have been completed in 18 months in 60 districts. Yet, the CPI Maoist targets, their two principal targets are school buildings and roads. Police are not put by me in school buildings. If any policeman is occupying a school building, it is because the state government, which leads the operation, has no other accommodation, puts the policeman in the school building. I don't put the police in the school building. I ask chief ministers to build infrastructure, to give me barracks, to give me toilets, to give me bathrooms, to give me cook houses. If I read the deficiency in infrastructure, it is a staggering list. I don't blame you. You have got difficulties with money and resources. But the point is, school buildings are targeted, roads are targeted. Why? The CPI Maoist does not want the children to go to schools. The CPI Maoist does not want roads to be built. If roads are built, the whole hinterland will be opened up. They don't target contractors' vehicles, because contractors' vehicles pay them extortion money. They don't target mining companies. Mining companies pay them extortion money. But they target construction companies. Construction companies, JCB, bulldozers are targeted because they don't want any construction to take place. And believe me, sir, you know, no development can take place, small or big, without some kind of a construction. An overhead tank requires construction, a school requires construction, a road requires construction, a bridge requires construction. So construction companies are targeted. Be that as it may, let's be very clear. I have no objection to talking to the Maoists. Government has no objection. Chief Minister Chhattisgarh has made the offer. Chief Minister Bihar has made that offer. Chief Minister Orissa has made the offer. They have not responded to my offer, nor have they responded to the Chief Minister's offer. All that we ask them is, abjure violence during the period of talks, and we are willing to hold talks with you. But in the absence of talks, we have to continue our two-pronged strategy. And let us not have any illusion about what the CPI Maoists want. They are not unclear as we are unclear about them. They are very clear about their objective. Their objective is that the parliamentary system of democracy must be overthrown through an armed rebellion. That is their record, that is their document, that is their interview. The parliamentary system of democracy must be overthrown through an armed rebellion, and power must be seized through the barrel of a gun. Now, we will talk to them, but can we talk to them? Is this a negotiable item? Is this a negotiable issue? We can talk to them about grievances, about poverty, about illiteracy, about lack of development. But please tell me, can anyone in this house tell me, can we talk to them about the overthrow of the parliamentary system through an armed rebellion? But let's not have any illusions. They know their goal, they know their objectives. We are the ones who are misunderstanding their goal and their objectives. Civil society organizations, many of them, have completely misunderstood their goals and objectives, which is why some honorable members call them misguided. They are not misguided. They are guided by their objective. We are misguiding ourselves by misreading their objective. Nevertheless, I make the offer once again. Government is willing to talk to the CPI Maoists, provided they abjure violence during the period of talks. Sir, I do not wish to deal with the I stressed the J&K on the just a minute.
Please wait.
Sir, there was a reference to the J&K interlocutors report. There was a reference to the J&K interlocutors report. Yes, in the next few days, the J&K interlocutors report will be uploaded on the website and placed in the library of the Parliament, and members are free to look at that report. So let me conclude by saying, please, I'll just bring up.
No, just
please, Mr. Ray.
Complete. Let him come. Don't be patient. Be patient. Let him complete.
Sir, let me conclude by saying, I am an optimist. My experience in the last 3.5 years with J&K, with the Northeast, and in building capacity makes me an even more of an optimist. I'm optimistic about the future. Terror, violence, militancy are paths of futility. They will not lead anywhere. This is the land of Gandhi and Buddha and Jawaharlal Nehru. Yes, there will be blips here and there, now and then. There will be a violent act, there will be a terrorist attack, there will be a pocket of great conflict. But ultimately, I think people will recognize that these are futile methods followed by people. Ultimately, people will stand and support a government that takes strong action against militancy, terrorism and violence and promotes peace and development. That is the path that this government has followed, and I think the results are there for everyone to see. Yogi Adityanath said that I have fallen on bad days. No, you have taken to bad ways. I think if you give up your wrong and bad ways, you will appreciate what I have said, you will support my hands, you will support the government, and together, I underline, together, working together, states and centre working together, political parties working together, opposition and the ruling benches working together, we will make this country safer and more secure for all of us.